Hi, and welcome to CryptoBiography. I'm your host, Brandon Starr, and this is episode 150. Wow. And so we're, doing the math. We're approaching the 3-year anniversary, and I'm very excited about that. And today's going to be a nonfiction episode, so I'm just going to start talking. So, yeah, I do have a story that I'm working on, but it just wasn't ready, and I didn't know exactly. Well, I had some ideas of what I wanted to talk about this time anyway. So we're at 150 episodes, and we are 2 months deep, roughly, into quarantine and separation and all of that. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, about how that's going for me and how I'm handling it or not handling it in some cases. So, so my situation is that, well, first of all, I do live alone in my home. My son is at college. He did decide to go back to his campus and to do his courses there, even though they're online courses. He could have stayed home, but it would have been, it would have meant extra trips because his most of his stuff and his computer was there, so we would have had made an extra trip back up just to, and brought it back all down. Also, I think he was hoping that, he would be able to be at least semi-social with some of his friends. That's having mixed results, of course. A lot of his friends are staying home themselves and are not on campus, but he's handling it reasonably well, and I'm proud of him for that. Anyway, I'm in my house by myself, and I've basically gone full hermit except for seeing my girlfriend. And how that works and the reason for it is that I do have asthma. It's not very strong asthma. It's not the kind of asthma that, I have to carry my medicine around. My father does have that kind of asthma, and so I'm very aware of that sort of asthma. But I wasn't aware I had asthma until I guess it would be about 6 years ago now, something like that. I had a chest cold, and it just wasn't going away. And I finally had to see a doctor about it. And it turned out, yeah, I have asthma. And because I have asthma, when something gets in my lungs, they have a very hard time getting rid of it. Which means COVID-19, the coronavirus, is exceptionally risky for me to get. And so I've been completely separated for the last more than a month now. I haven't done anything. So my shopping is actually, my girlfriend actually does my shopping every couple of weeks. She does a big shopping for me, which I am very thankful for. Obviously I haven't gone to the gym, which I used to do every day. That was like an everyday activity for me. It was my main exercise, and I can definitely tell the difference. Like, yeah, I do some push-ups, and I do, and I take walks, and I do some other little things, but it hasn't made up for it, and I haven't adjusted to that very well. So I'm definitely not in as good a shape as I was already, and it's only been 2 months, Anyway, so, and what we do is we mask up and we take walks, and that's really all we can do. So we do that as many times as we can. We've actually stepped it up because we both realized, that it was putting a strain on our relationship and that we were both feeling lonely. And so now, basically, any day that she doesn't have work, we're trying to get a walk in. So, and since we don't, live exactly, very near each other, it takes some doing, but that's okay, and it's worth it. So I've been, seeing her, a few times a week, about 3-4 times a week. We take a walk, and, masked, but hand in hand. And then I just take a shower afterwards. She takes a shower too, and all that. And that has been the extent of my physical interaction with people. And so it kind of has to be this way, unfortunately. That's the problem, is because I have asthma, and she has a job where she will be, exposed to germs on a regular basis. And so she could have it at any time and be asymptomatic, as many people are. She's, she's roughly my age, which is not really in the danger zone yet. And she's otherwise healthy. So she could definitely have it and not know it. Plus, she has allergies, which means she does a lot of like coughing and sneezing and feeling like running a slight temperature anyway. So it's even harder. Like, it's even going to be harder to tell if she actually has it. So we're kind of locked into the situation until there's a vaccine, which is going to be a long time away, or until we can confirm that she has had it, which is probably then safe enough for me to be around her, although I wouldn't be able to go necessarily to her house because she does have kids. But maybe, she could come to my house, that sort of thing. Yeah. Or until I definitely get it, of course, which I'm trying not to, as you can understand. And it's been a strain. So the reason I'm calling this one a separation tip is because I do have a tip, and it's based on the tip that Kimmy gave me all those years ago. And we did talk about that on her episode. I think it was episode 3. It was a 2-parter, and she was part of it. Episode 3 was at least one of them. I'm not sure which. I can't remember which one we talked about it with her on. But it's a tip that she gave me initially because she was widowed at a young age. And what she did is she took her late wife's clothing, bagged it up, and vacuum sealed it. And then whenever she feels badly, or if she's feeling especially lonely, or just having trouble sleeping, she takes out another one and then sleeps with that for a while. And it lasts, better part of a week, and then the scent fades. And I did that with my late wife Jennifer's clothing, on her advice, and it was very helpful. I didn't necessarily use it a ton, partly because I don't know, I felt very like miserly about it. Like, oh, if I use them, they'll go away, and then I won't be able to have them anymore, or something like that. Even though I had like 20 pieces of clothing like bagged away like that. But I did use them occasionally. And it was very helpful. There's something about the scent of someone who is, so close and so familiar, and being able to fall asleep with that scent, and it helps you sleep. It really does. So yeah. So last time we saw each other, I bagged up some shirts and gave them to her because she had said she wasn't sleeping very well. And I thought that would help her. And, and she took them. And of course she said, well, it's also going to make me a little sad because it'll remind me that we can't be together. And I said, I understood, and I understood that. I said, yeah, that makes sense. But I hope it helps. And yeah, last night she did try it for the first time, and she said she slept better. And apparently I invaded her dream because she actually had a dream that had me in it. And she doesn't remember dreams that often, I don't think. And I don't think she dreams about me specifically very much. But but I was in her dreams presumably because of that. And apparently she did sleep a lot better. And she is going to be doing the same thing for me. Now it's a little trickier, because I'm the one who, we're trying to be careful about. So she's actually already bagged it up. And then the idea is we'll just leave it, hopefully maybe in some sunlight inside, or at least give it a few days before I actually try to use it. And I'm looking forward to that. I do still have some of Jennifer's old clothing bagged up. I haven't gotten rid of them or anything like that. But now that it's funny, it feels weird. Like I wouldn't do it anymore now because I have this new relationship, and it would feel strange to go back to Jennifer's clothing for this. So, and I discussed that with her, and she said, yeah, that makes sense. So she has bagged up some. We haven't seen each other, since yesterday. So next time we meet, presumably she'll give it to me, and then I'll probably give it a few days or whatever, and then we'll go from there. So that's my tip, is like, if you are separated from the one you love, and you're not sleeping very well, give this tip a try. It worked. It just works. So, bag up, bag up it usually works best with a shirt, like, because there's more scent. The underarm area has some of the most scent. It's best, of course, if it hasn't been laundered, because, the laundry just takes the smell away and covers it up with something else. And yeah, just bag it up. If it's in an airtight baggie, you can just kind of keep it almost indefinitely. It will smell like even after all this time. It definitely will. It'll slowly fade, but it takes like years if it's in a baggie. So yeah, just put it in a baggie. Wait. In this case, because of the virus, wait a reasonable amount of time to make sure that the virus has had time to dry out and die out, so that it cannot be spread. And go and give it a try. It is definitely a tip that has helped me in the past, and it has helped my girlfriend now some, and for that I'm glad. And I hope it helps you if you need it. So yeah, so if you are physically separated but you can get clothing to each other safely, then I would suggest giving this a try. And, and it just feels very weird. Like I'm literally not physically seeing any other people right now. So my online life is very important, and thank goodness for the internet, because, I stream every day. I communicate with people every day, and by text and occasional phone calls, especially with family, of course. And but it's a very strange existence, even for me. And I've never been, super, let's go to the party, let's be outgoing, let's see lots of people. But I go to the same restaurants regularly, and, the servers often recognize me because I do kind of stick to the same few restaurants. And I usually tip pretty well too. That's just a thing for me. And yeah, and I haven't seen any of those guys for a while, and I have not gone to a restaurant. I could do the takeout food, that thing that people are doing, but it is a slight risk. And, with my girlfriend, like, trying so hard and getting me groceries and being willing to keep our relationship, even though we're being physically separated, and it's being, such a strain on her and us and me, that, I haven't decided not to take advantage of that. I have not tried to, have any restaurant food, even as takeout or delivery or anything else. And it feels very weird, but, I am getting by, and I will keep getting by. And I hope that you're getting by. And if you have any comments or questions about this episode or previous episodes, CryptoBiography@gmail.com, or hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. And thanks for listening.